The Eldari, an ancient and proud people, had at one point several gods that would walk among them, teaching and guiding them, even just walking with them to enjoy their company. The Eldar were such potent and powerful psychers that their collective minds had formed these gods within the warp. The most powerful of these gods was named Asuryan, who was known as the Phoenix King. It is believed that Asuryan embodied the psychic might of the entire Eldari race. Asuryan had gifted wisdom to his people, and was often depicted in relation to fire and light. His rune is a symbol of the Eldari warrior spirit. It represents the balance between the volatile nature of emotion and the calm assurance of skill. The next god is Cain, the god of murder, violence, destruction, and war. It is believed that Cain embodies the passion of warfare of the Eldari race. Cain had gifted anger to his people, believing they would need it to defend themselves from their enemies. Cain was powerful enough to do battle with cosmic star gods known as the Catan. He managed to shatter the necrodermis armor of one named the Nightbringer. The next god, Lilith, the goddess of dreams and fortune, who had gifted her people joy, was known for her prophetic abilities. She would have dreams that would come to pass, and so the Eldari and the other gods had a great respect for her visions. The next god, Isha, the goddess of healing, fertility, and the harvest, who is seen as the mother of the Eldari race and the most benevolent of them all, gifting her people love. She is known for her guidance and motherly nature. She had always tended to her people and helped them with any problems they had. She cared deeply for the Eldari, and they in turn cared deeply for her. The next god is the husband of Isha and god of the hunt, Kurnus. It was Kurnus who gave the Eldari the ability to desire. Kurnus is seen as the father of the Eldari. Though he is not as powerful as Asuryan, he alongside his wife had become greatly respected among the Eldari for the care and guidance that he brought them. The next god is Vol, the Eldari god of smithing. He was known to have given his people artifice so they could craft their dreams into reality. His crafting abilities were of such proportions that even the gods themselves would treasure anything made by him. Vol could craft a great many things, all of which were of great power. He crafted swords, such as Anaris, a blade which Cain wields himself. Vol also created the first spirit stones from the tears of Isha herself. These stones were used as a means of communication between the gods and their people, yet also possessed the ability to capture the soul of a dying Eldari and prevent it from being consumed in the warp. The next god is Kegorak, known as the Laughing God. He is the god of stealth, creativity, art, and trickery. His abilities are so immense that he was able to trick a Catan into feeding on its own kind, thus weakening their position considerably among the great powers of the universe. He is the only known being in the entire universe that knows every pathway through the webway, an entirely different, extra dimension that is closed off from the immaterium. There are several other gods, though not as prominent as the other members of the pantheon, are important to the Eldari. One of them is Morai Heg, the crone, consort of Cain, and the goddess of fate and soul. It was she who gifted her people foresight, so they would know their place in the world. She is known to have the ability to understand the fate of all things, including the gods. Another god is Gia. Her place within the pantheon is largely unknown. She is, though, seen as the consort of both Cain and Asuryan. What is left of her impact on the Eldari is in the form of ritual dances which have historical importance to them. The next god is Hoek. As with Gia, his role is unknown. What the Eldari do know is that Hoek was a wanderer. He walked through the webway, visiting each of the stars. Eldari rangers see Hoek as their divine patron and revere him as exemplar. Many thousands of years after the birth of the Eldari, they began to fall into lives of hedonism and decadence. Many of them moved away from the guidance of their pantheon. The resulting psychic disturbance birthed the chaos god Slanesh, who fed upon the Eldari pantheon. Only 3 among them are thought to have survived the ordeal. Cain, who had witnessed his fellow gods be consumed, had fought with Slanesh. Though the battle was long and arduous, he was no match for the ruinous god. Khorne, the chaos god of war, rose out of the warp to battle with Slanesh over ownership of Cain's essence. The resulting battle shattered Cain into thousands of pieces. Each piece settled on a different world, allowing the surviving Eldari to summon him in times of need. Kegorak, who had witnessed the deaths of his fellow gods, had taken Cain's battle as an opportunity to escape into the webway. He now resides there, plotting the destruction of the ruinous powers for what they had done. And Isha, who was crying out into the warp at the slaughter she had witnessed, was taken by the forces of Nurgle, the god of decay. He now keeps her within his garden, feeding her disease and illness, and studying the effects that they have on her. Though she is caged within this hell, she discovers the cures for each of these illnesses, and spreads the information out into the universe, so that the people may combat Nurgle's fetid nature. After the destruction of the gods and many of the Aeldari worlds, most of the Eldar were forced into great ships known as craft worlds. These planet-sized ships would house the species, and within them would house their souls, through a technology known as an infinity circuit. Within these circuits, the souls of dead Eldari swell and coalesce. It is due to this technology that a new god had begun to form within the Immaterium. The final god of the Eldari, Ynnead, is known as the Whispering God, the god of the dead. As the Eldari die, their souls form together. Slowly and over time, they have begun to manifest as an entirely new god. According to Eldar seers, this god is so powerful that its birth will manifest an entirely new dimension. Not only that, but Ynnead is believed to be of such great power that he could defeat Slaanesh herself. The Eldari pantheon is an ancient one, though most of its knowledge is lost to time and space. Many of them are still venerated by their people, and their impact on the universe will be forever felt.